just set my PTO speed. I got the mower right there. As you can see, this is what dry land looks like in my area. That's the kind of crop I'd have if I was dry land. So this barley is going to get knocked down today, so I thought I'd just show you what it looks like to start with, and then I'll get into it, and then I'll probably adjust the conditioner. The loader's up in the air. I get tons of comments that are so worried about my safety. It'll be just freaking fine. And I leave the loader on and don't take it off because I feed cattle every day here. So, and the loader being up just helps visibility and makes for a better video. I do leave it down when I'm cutting too, so, but for the safety sallies, if it bothers you, don't watch. Let's cut some barley. So like I said, I wasn't too worried about that corner, you know, or that little dry spot getting it cut perfectly. I was more worried about just getting started, so. Now we're into irrigation right there. But I'll bring you out when it gets more fun, so hold on. I'll bring you back in a bit. There you can see where it was too wet to plant, so then the volunteer oats came, but the alfalfa's really good. So then here the barley's pretty good. And I'm going to show you a spot up further where the blackbirds have eaten all the barley. So I was driving and I thought, that's kind of weird, you know, it looks so different there. And like I said, the alfalfa, or the barley, all the kernels have been eaten from the heads from the blackbirds. I've got the mower set as high as I can to leave as much stubble as I can. And that's twofold. That's so that the barley can rest on top of it, and that's partly because I rolled the rocks, but I'd rather not hit any that didn't go in the ground all the way. So, like I said, there's kind of two reasons for raising it up. But like I said, we're not far. I guess I'll slow down. You can see I got grasshoppers. I don't know if you guys can see that on top of the mower. There's grasshoppers like you would not believe. I guess that's a sign I should go fishing. Okay, so here we'll look, and none of those heads have any barley on them. They've been stripped completely clean. There's nothing left. The blackbirds have ate everything. You can see a couple weeds there. This did not get sprayed at all. It was supposed to get sprayed with empty tox so the alfalfa didn't die, but how it worked out was the alfalfa wasn't big enough because I planted it later, and so then by the time it was big enough, the barley was too big. So anyhow, there's just nothing on those heads at all. Nothing, just strip clean, and then now we start getting heads that are full again. I wanted to cut yesterday, that was my wedding anniversary. So the kids had all gone to Waterton to go hiking. I tried to convince Mama Bear to go ride pasture with me, and it was quite hot, so we ended up going to Lethbridge and going to a movie instead. So, like I said, here that's where the end gun hits, where it doesn't hit every time depending on the wind. And now we're getting back into irrigation. And then this side doesn't produce as much, but this has the lighter seeding rate. Like where it's super heavy, that's where it's planted super heavy. So there is a direct correlation with my seeding rate there. But here is where I cut the seeding rate back because I was going to run out of barley seed. And you can see there's some volunteer oats. Those are tame oats, not wild oats. But I had oats here last year, and the oats came really well. And I worked them, you know, so I killed a lot of them in the spring because it turned green after we got irrigating it, and I worked them down and then planted. So, but there was still enough seeds in the ground that haven't gone sprouted yet. So, split the field where I planted the alfalfa, but I didn't do it right. I thought I was on the right spot, but I wasn't. So I'm gonna have to come back and make some swaths to my left here because I didn't cut straight. I thought I'd be able to see my tracks, and where it's light you can. So right ahead of us is lowland that didn't produce anything last year. So I never spread any fertilizer in this lowland, and then of course it was too wet to produce, so you can see what it looks like. It's just knee-high, kind of yellowy, but at least it did something to pull some of the moisture out of the soil. I learned about some different grass varieties that are good for, well, here's some good barley here. You can see a good strip. But like I said, I learned about some different varieties of grass that are pretty salt tolerant that I might replant. I'm gonna slow down. It's not gonna hurt my swath too much, but you can see there the alfalfa is thick as thick can be because the barley didn't grow enough to choke it out. And then you can see the water weeds are growing really well. I guess here you can see alfalfa is growing through the barley, but I usually try to cut my cereal rate back when I'm trying to establish alfalfa, but this time I didn't worry about it too much. So we'll see what I get for a crop for alfalfa after. We had an agronomist talk to us about using a cover crop to establish. They won't ever call them a nurse crop anymore, but for a while they would guarantee your stand if you planted a nurse crop. But like I said, it's called a cover crop instead of a nurse crop, but now they want you to have one. But I've always thought like a bushel and a half was a good way to cut down, and they're talking about just seeding, just 10 pounds of barley with it, not planting, 50 pounds of barley with it, or even 90 pounds of barley. So I think the next time I try to plant some, I'll cut way back and I'll just put a little bit of barley or oats in the ground. Anyhow, get this field opened up and then I'll bring you guys out and show you how everything looks. I'm zipping along pretty good speed, probably faster than I should be, but I got things I want to do too, so it won't take me long to cut this down. See, I got lots of grasshoppers here. So here's a little wispy part I missed. And there is alfalfa here. So that's what we want. It's harder to tell after you get driven on it, but this barley variety's probably not the best for green feed. So here, this head has been broken by getting through the processor or the crimper, so that's been well crimped. So like I said, there's some barley losses. Like here's one where it broke where the crimper hit it in two places, but can't change that stuff. But if I want it to dry, I gotta condition it. In the old days we used a swather, but we didn't have a hay bind that could cut it the same way either. So, but here I'm trying to save that stuff. So I know I'm gonna have some losses, but so be it. So here, this is where I screwed up. I should have been over further. So I'm gonna have to find my spot where I planted alfalfa to and try to clean up the field here. So, but like I said, those are some tame oats, like I talked about. And like I said, there's some lamb's quarter and there's ragweed and stuff, but I'm okay with it. So, oh, sorry, a little close. So like I said, we're okay for you know, we're okay for our stage of barley, but we want to get it cut so we can get it baled and gone, and then that alfalfa can start growing, and then it can get the roots growing enough they can survive winter. So I better just get crack-a-lacking. I'm making my last pass for my opening rounds. You can see I got things cut down through the lowland. I hit a rock because I drove out where I hadn't rolled. So I'm going to go in and change a blade. I took a crescent wrench and bent it up so I didn't carve up my cutter bed, but the rest of it has to get, or I need to get it changed anyhow, so it does a better job. This is not a big crop by any means, and I'm okay with that because it's underseeded to hay. But if I had planted this for green feed and wasn't underseeded, I'd be pretty disappointed right now about how heavy the crop was. But because it's underseeded, I'm okay with it. Like here, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. This is an okay crop, but like I said, the old crop I raised last year was, you know, I'd say 40% better. But that's okay. It'll make feed. It'll make tender feed. It's got lots of leaves on it. Have some grain in it. It'll be okay for feed. But it's just not a monster crop. But you can't raise monster crops every time, or else there wouldn't be any challenge in it. And like I said, they got enough weeds coming through here. I'm glad to clean those up and get them out of the way. But I'm gonna go in and change the blade and come back out and finish this field. So that is why it's absolutely first time running that piece of equipment. He has never ran that hay bind before. So he is going to drive at half the speed I was driving because we're not using GPS or anything. So he's going to drive half the speed just so there's like he's just got a little miss right there. I told him little misses aren't the end of the world. I have them too, so not a big deal. When we get to that corner, that's when we got to start coming out on an angle all the time. So this is the last of the squared off part of the field, and it's squared off on the other end, so it'd be a lot easier for him to run and stay straight. Look down here on the ground, and the ground is hard as a rock. It hasn't been irrigated for a week, but I've got grass growing here and alfalfa. Well, that's weed there, but there's alfalfa and grass coming. So, and there's weeds, and then those are barley beards. Like I said, there's a certain amount of loss that's acceptable too. But like I said earlier, like this isn't a bad spot of the field, but if this was all I was gonna have for feed, I would be kind of sad. But this is a dwarf variety barley that's not supposed to lay down. We get lots of winds here, and I've got neighbors that have no barley standing. Every bit of it's laying on the ground. So this is a head the blackbirds have eaten. There's nothing on them anymore. All the kernels are gone. So goes life. Can't change it. But I thought you guys would get a kick out of seeing Wyatt start cutting for the very first time. But on this side, you can see with the straightness of the rows, it's that straight ahead of me like that, and then all this is, you know, you'll end up coming out on a pretty good angle and going in on this end on an angle. So we'll let Big Daddy do that part, and Wyatt can do the straight stuff. I'll bring you back out when we're done and you can see what the field looks like. So Wyatt just informed me that my big monologue while I cut the last little piece, I didn't have the button pushed. So you can see that this, I guess it's probably 25 acres, is all cut now. And it's lunchtime, so when you're dealing with a fat boy, we don't want to be waiting until, you know, working all day. We got to stop for lunch. My original plans, I guess I'll stop driving for a second. So this other quarter circle, my original plans were to cut it for green feed. But now that I've started cutting, I'm gonna walk that field tonight or this afternoon and make a couple phone calls and see if a friend of mine needs the feed. It's worth lots as feed, but I need the straw. So if a friend of mine needs the feed, I will cut another quarter circle to bale and call her good. But if he doesn't need the feed, there's going to be some wild oats that come there because we never sprayed that quarter circle for wild oats. But it doesn't have the broadleaf weeds because it was sprayed, and it has tame oats coming in it because it wasn't sprayed for wild oats. But I don't care about that. It makes good feed that way too. So, but I'm going to make a phone call to him and see if he needs the feed, and then I'll cut it. But that corn, I got a circle of corn there that's on its way to being a really good crop. So I might hold off and not get in too big a hurry. Got my co-pilot with me. I kicked him off the tractor. He was doing the cutting for a while, and it was good practice for him. But, you know, there he left a little of this feed, but that happens. I left him too. And then he did really good. But most of it was, I cut it twice the speed that he cuts at. And like I said, being a fat boy, I was ready. I didn't want to be late for lunch. So I went 9 miles an hour. And this Massey Heston is the cat's meow. Like I said, I could have went 15 miles an hour if I could stay in my seat, but it's not a big crop, but it'll still make cow feed, and that's what we need. Like I said, I'm gonna do some numbers this afternoon, and I might cut that other quarter circle this afternoon or tomorrow. So be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and have yourselves a great day. Take care.